Stocks simplified, profits multiplied. Welcome to the Apex Investor channel. This is the weekend update. I'm also going to look at Friday's numbers because I did not get a chance to present those. So the big loser was MTCR, negative 57%, and big winner was PHUN, plus 471%. I'm going to follow up regarding DWAC right after we look at the trending stocks. So we can see that overall MMTLP was down 12% to 124. IronNet was down below $10, so really good entry point here if you have not got into that yet. Metamaterials is down as well, just a little bit at 472. Coinbase was above $300 for the first time in a long time. AMC was down to 36.60. GameStop was also down 169. Clover was down as well to 750, getting closer to my preferred entry point of $6 to $7. I think the last thing I'm looking for here is Bitcoin, which is up 62,000. So that's where we're going to end it there. And now we'll look at the trending stocks a little bit closer and more in depth here. So IronNet was trading between 975 to 1032 on Friday. The volume was about half the average. So a very good entry point below $10 for you with IronNet, which I'm projecting to get back to $20 and above in the next 6 to 12 months. MMAT, also known as Metamaterials, traded between 405 to 472, so still staying afloat above $4. And the volume was pretty healthy, near the average, just below the average. Clover traded between 737 to 776. Volume was below average as well. And I project this one going up to $20 as well. Might take 1 to 2 years though. And DWAC, actually I'll finish with that. Metamaterials preferred shares was trading between $1.10 to $1.35. So getting close to my entry point of $1 and below. I'm not sure how much longer this is going to be offered for. Could be removed even before the deadline. So this is, I believe, a limited offering, maybe more limited than we imagine, than we think. And DWAC saw an increase of 107% from the increase of about 300+% the previous day on Thursday. Was trading between 69 to 175. So it saw a big drop off after 10 a.m. All the way down to 69, and then recovered somewhat to 112 and stabilized at 940. I should say 994, not 940. And the volume was 127 million. So a little bit off the previous days of almost $500 million, but still above the average. So we're starting to see what support could be looking like for this. Personally, I think it's 45, kind of like a A little bit of a pun there, but I think 45 is the level of support that you're looking at if you're wanting to enter DWAC. It's a normal entry point, and then the further down you go, whether it's $20 to 45, that would be your hard mode, and expert mode is anywhere between 10 to, I'd say, 20 at this point for DWAC. So I'm going to look at the news, and if there's anything notable, I will report back. So George Pelikaras had tweeted on the 23rd that he totally agrees regarding today's deep tech. ESG companies could become tomorrow's tech giants. Tech, innovation, deep tech, go beyond. Okay, so there's an article saying Bill Gates says climate tech will produce 8 to 10 different Teslas, like Tesla-like companies. So I'm going to look at that a little bit, see what he's saying here. Fission and energy storage require hundreds of millions or billions of dollars to test out. You're not quite sure whether those technologies are going to be able to contribute or not. The more difficult markets to predict are direct air carbon capture, hydrogen, steel, and aviation. But he's saying less risk, a less risky market to invest in is solar fields, according to him, Mr. Gates there. We'll have a high failure rate, but there are enough ideas that we have a likelihood of substantial success, particularly with the right government assistance. Somebody who cannot afford risk, or if you expect near-term returns, it's, I would look elsewhere. So I don't know. I don't fully agree with him. I do believe as a result of, I don't know if it's so much related to climate change. Probably it is more related to resources becoming more rare. When we look at semiconductors and various minerals in the earth that are becoming more costly or harder to produce, or you cannot produce at all. So I think that's where metamaterials is going to play a big role in these shortages, specifically when it comes to semiconductors or even parts for the EV, electric vehicles, and among other things. So yeah, I'm very bullish on metamaterials. So yeah, I do think what he said sort of relates to it, although not in a very direct way. It's sort of indirectly. This is a sign of the times that we live in. We have Wall Street Bets, one of the places that I've mostly given up on, for the most part, not fully, but mostly. But you have this gem here saying Yellen says that the US is not losing control of inflation. The majority of the comments here basically deny what she's saying being true. So that's a sign of the times that people are waking up to a lot of the nonsense that is being peddled in the media regarding what is true, what is false, and whether they have an actual handle on this inflation or not. And right, so far they're just sweeping it under the rug. That's what they're doing until they can no longer do so. The bubble bursts. So I understand and I perceive it's simply a temporary fix to a long-term problem that really needs to be, addressed using very practical solutions, dealing at this on where it's the problem is deep to its core. You can't just do a superficial, kind of raising the debt ceiling, not really addressing the root factors of why the economy is so bad. And I think we can see the previous administration did a better job. The stock market was high. The gas prices were affordable, food and everything was just a lot better. Now things are just getting out of hand. That's not so much a commentary on left versus right. It's just a commentary on reality. So I'm going to look at metamaterials news coming up next. Here's the first post from metamaterials subreddit. The post reads my opinion of how it started and how it will end. Number one, I get wind of possible metamaterial squeeze play and merger in early June and goes all in on Torchlight. And that's what I did too in June. The merge happens, and in a few days, you're worth 80% less late June. So I remember, yeah, my portfolio went down at least 50%. It was pretty sad. Follows T plus days, PR days, acquisition days, bloggers, Reddit comments, people such as myself, maybe, stock twits, Twitter, etc., daily, in hopes of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Months go by, and you are starting to feel deflated because you don't have the cash to average down, but you continue to hold because any sell you make is a loss at this point. The metamaterials preferred shares become tradable, and for one day it goes to $3 and you think it's going to squeeze, then it heads downward. The good thing is that by now your 80% loss is now only 40% due to some of the value of the preferred shares. Number 6, you start to read other people's comments and the bears and paper-handed investors are starting to sell. Momentum is slowing down. 7, a month of volatility happens. The preferred shares are issued at a dollar amount that forces squeezes for both the common and preferred shares, and we all make a lot of money in December. The pain and suffering is over. The end. Oh, forgot. January reads paper hand posts of how they wish they would have held. Yeah, I see a similar thing playing out, especially for number 7. Maybe not so much in the month of December, but shortly after December, I think from January into the end of 2022, you're going to see a lot of movement, upward movement for metamaterials going back to double digits finally. And then looking further down the road, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, this company is really going to take off. So let's look at the next post, if it's worth reading. Someone asked a question regarding the float, and I'm not going to answer this question. It's more that this post reminded me that some of the investors that are invested in metamaterials are BlackRock. I believe BlackRock is one and Vanguard is another one. So you have these big time players who were there during the GameStop and AMC squeezes. And they're also in metamaterials. That is a big hint at something big to come. They are very keenly aware of not only the potential of metamaterials, but perhaps maybe even some of the deals that have already been made behind closed doors. So that's something to think about. Food for thought. From metamaterial subreddit, it is someone said to mark your calendars for November the 10th from 2:15 to 2:40. Jonathan Waldron from metamaterials is going to present regarding ARfusion. That is really interesting to see just how this technology will work. Can it be used by regular people, citizens? Or is this more of a military application? Is this more for medical? Is it more for security, aviation? I'm not sure, but we'll see just how these work. We do know regarding the Meta Air glasses, for example, that is used, I think, mostly for pilots, for people in professions where laser attacks are an issue. So in regards to ARfusion, that's going to be interesting as to how they present that product to be something that is needed in our day and age. Just when you think you had all the news, there's a big bombshell that was just dropped. right at the end of this video. This post is talking about a individual here to drop knowledge coming from stock twits, coming through with the clutch info, clutch DD that gets lost in music videos. So he says here, light engines for XR smart glasses by Jonathan Waldron, digilens co-founder. If you recognize that name, it's because it is Meta's CTO. This may have been an older round of funding, but usually if a company gets 50 million in funding, hold on a sec. Repeat that paragraph. This may have been an older round of funding, but usually if a company gets 50 million in funding, they will have an end goal. I doubt George was just pumping that AWE event for fun all the way back in July. There was probably a reason. I would imagine it has something to do with this. And this is the digilens doubles down on its optical technology strategy with increased investment. So yeah, that is, it's actually very significant. I'm surprised nobody upvoted or commented on this. So digilens uploads, this is a PDF. Take a closer look at that. In this PDF from digilens by Jonathan Waldron, again, the CTO of Metamaterials, talks about the near-term obstacle to meeting an elegant form factor for extended reality, which is XR glasses, is the size of the light engine that projects an image into the waveguide, providing a daylight bright, wide field of view mobile display. So that provides some challenges into making that practical and functional. So original equipment manufacturers, OEMs developing XR smart glasses employ a diffractive waveguide lens. There are several light engine architectures contending for the throne. There's a highly transmissive daylight bright glasses demanded by early adopting customers. They translate to a level of display efficiency. 2K by 2K and up resolution plus high contrast simply do not exist today, and they're required less than -2 cc's cubic centimeter package size. This thought piece examines both laser and LED contenders. It becomes clear that even if micro LED, ULED solutions do actually emerge as forecasted in the next 5 years, fundamentally diffractive waveguides are not ideally paired to broadband LED illumination, and so only laser-based light engines are the realistic option over the next 5+ years. So he's saying laser light is the best option in regards to this technology. This is a concept of how digilens could look like, and I think this is what we could see Metamaterials AR glasses looking something similar to this, perhaps, potentially. Light emitting diodes, okay. They mention here that Facebook has been interested and Plessy has been interested in developing these technologies of XR and AR displays. So this could have a relationship or maybe a collaboration with Facebook and Oculus as well, or perhaps they'll be competitors. It's difficult to say at this point, but those companies, Facebook, Oculus, Plessy, are all interested in these technologies, and Ostendo as well. They're marketing a different micro LED approach called RGB QPI. It's receiving a lot of attention. So I'm going to just scroll down, continue scrolling down. Laser diodes. The north focals provide a good example of an LBS niche as XR content is sparse. While LBS, which is laser-based scanning, Light engines come with the benefit of small volumetric packaging, efficiency, and high brightness. Their role in XR is likely diminished due to resolution limitations, scanning, uniformity, mechanical reliability, and safety. It is likely the niche for LBS will be limited to low resolution, simple notification smart glasses. I can really see this taking off, XR and AR. Once Apple jumps into this field, funnily enough, it says apples to apples here. So if there are Apple glasses in the future that are AR, XR, and Apple sees this as a I don't know what the word is, but a natural progression or evolution from the smartphone to a smartwatch to then smart glasses, and incorporating XR and AR technology into the iPhone or whatever Apple devices, maybe even including their Apple iCar. I don't know what it's going to be called, the Apple Car perhaps. Then maybe this technology will be more mainstream. I'm not sure if Metamaterials will be the company to do it. That's our hope for a lot of us, but it might take a collaboration with an Apple or Tesla or Samsung or another company. Perhaps they could do it themselves, but we'll see. Time will tell. I'm just going to finish off with this conclusion here. We read, by leveraging the benefits of laser illumination and diffractive/holographic switchable optics, digilens is bringing a range of laser diode-based light engines to market as an alternative to LED and micro LED based light engines with an equally dramatic form factor reduction. So they're trying to make it more aesthetically appealing as well, not just being able to be functional. Once integrated in an industrial heads-up displays and lightweight smart glasses, the benefit of narrowband laser combined with LCOS is high polarized efficiency and contrast. So the benefit of laser diode combined with diffractive optics in both the light engine and waveguide eyeglasses is high efficiency. It's also improved color uniformity, planar construction, miniature size, and low cost. And finally, the benefit of laser combined with meta projection lens solutions are faster time to market, as use of narrowband laser line leads to a simpler, smaller design that is more efficient. Companies looking to build smart glasses and other forms of heads-up displays should be conscious of making the correct near and long-term choice about which light engine technology will scale and grow with their future generations of products. Otherwise, they risk misallocating a significant amount of precious resources and will ultimately delay their XR products' time to market. So this sounds like an inflection point. It's like you have a fork in the road in history in terms of this technology, XR, AR. We saw it with DVD and Blu-ray, or I should say HD, DVD and Blu-ray, or Betamax and VHS, for people who remember that. So he is basically saying that, you know, the laser light engine technology, I should say, laser diode is his weapon of choice. That's his preferred technology in regards to XR, AR glasses. On behalf of the team at digilens, I offer this thought piece to posit that for OEMs, a wild-based light engine solution offers the most optimal path to realize a low-cost, high-resolution, efficiency, miniature light engine, and thereby maximize the likelihood of success in the emerging XR head-worn category over the next decade. So this was written, I believe, in 2020. So will this become a high demand product in the next 10 years from now? I could see it. I could see it happening. maybe not as strong of a possibility as, say, the electric vehicle, but if they can show it in a presentation, the same way Nintendo showed their Wii console with the motion technology and things like that, if they can prove the proof of concept, they can prove that it is needed or get people excited about it, and then have people use it in TikTok and all these different websites to make it go viral. Not to do it artificially, but I mean organically, where people are actually using it, it's enhancing their lives in many ways. Then yes, I think it can become a very uh, big business venture. It can be a great source of profit. It can be a very successful product, period. So that's all I have for this weekend update. By the time I post it, this video, the market will be opening roughly in less than 5 hours. So thank you very much for your support. Our subscribers are growing more and more every day and every week, every month. We're seeing a lot of increases. Soon we might even be monetized. So thank you very much for all your support, for all the views, subscriptions, for all the likes. I'd like to improve the quality of the presentations as much as possible. And I like to get feedback and constructive criticism. I think one of the criticisms I would probably criticize on my own self-critique is I think videos, as someone mentioned in the there was a post regarding podcasts on metamaterials, to keep videos between 10 to 15 minutes at the most. This probably is already 15 minutes, but I'm more mindful of the time I spend recording these videos and the time that people spend watching these videos. So thank you very much once again. May God bless you and may God bless your investments.